So we'll talk about basic probability, two different types today, both of which you're probably familiar with. And then next time we'll talk about the probability of two things happening. And then after that we'll talk about the probability of one thing happening or the other thing happening. So this stuff is probably going to be familiar. Again, I'm not going to give you a vocabulary quiz, but you should understand what I'm saying when I say it. This should be in parentheses. The capital P outside the parentheses stands for probability. The parentheses E of an event. It's kind of like F of X. So the theoretical or classical probability is the thing that should exist. If I flip a coin twice, I should get heads once and tails once. Theoretically. You know, people always say tails never fails. Well, heads has the same opportunity to succeed. Probabilities always are 0, 1, or somewhere in between. We won't have a negative probability. We won't have a probability greater than 1. So you can't have like a 200% chance of snow. I believe that would be speaking in hyperbole. Right? 100% chance is the best you got, which means it's absolutely going to happen. If there is 0% chance, then it ain't happening.
My English teacher has to.
Don't tell Mr. B. Don't tell your English teacher I wrote that. The closer a probability is to 0, the less likely it is to happen. The closer a probability is to 1, the more likely it is to happen. What's that? Yeah. I'm trying to make that slow. If a probability is 1/2, like heads and tails, then it is equally as likely for one to happen as it is for the other. Yeah, I can put certain and possible. Something like 0.01 would be improbable, but not impossible. So, if it's this, I want to like connect this a little bit to correlation, because I noticed some things at last class's quizzes that I probably would expect to see at least on 1 or 2 quizzes in here. If you look on the Weather Channel app, who has the Weather Channel app?
Oh, wait, the weather channel.
Who has some sort of weather app on
I
their
do.
phone? And it's like looking at the percent chance of snow for tomorrow. What is it? It's 60?
60 between 80. 60 and 80.
So if it were 60% chance of snow, how confident would you feel that it's going to snow?
More than half?
You would feel like it's going to snow?
A little bit more than it always will.
The weather channel access more.
Would you feel more confident it's going to snow than if it were like 30% chance?
Yeah.
It says 40 now.
There's 60s, but there's a lot more 40s.
But if it's 60% chance, it's more likely than not to happen, right?
I had like 100% like yesterday. It was like, oh, it's gonna
So, to connect like a 0.6 probability to like a 0.6 correlation, 0.6 doesn't mean it's not anything. It's like, I know people in the last class said 0.6 correlation, no relationship. It's actually a pretty decent relationship. So, 0.6% chance, or 60% chance, pretty decent chance that it might snow. Okay, if it doesn't snow, it doesn't mean like, oh, the weatherman was wrong. It just means, hey, that other 40% won. So let's go through these super fast. You don't have to write this down. How many ways can I roll a 3 on a 6-sided die? One. How many ways can I get a number? 6. So theoretically, rolling a 3 has a 1 in 6 chance. How many ways to roll a 7? 0. So it ain't happening. How many ways can I roll a number less than 5? 4. I can get a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. So please don't tell me you have a 4 and 6. Tell me. I don't care if you tell me that either. What is 1 6? 0.385. And what? So 0.167. I'm cool with decimals here. Because this 2/3 tells me about 67%. 1/6 tells me about 1 or 16.7%. So theory's nice, but the other type of probability is empirical or statistical probability. That's where we actually perform some sort of experiment and gather data and calculate a probability based on that data collection. And then it should be E in parentheses. Not physical education. It's the probability of then E. Physical education. Okay. I feel like I lost some of this. Sorry. Okay, so there should be division here. Right there. So I converted up PowerPoint to this smart, and apparently it got rid of my fraction.
So what about on the classical?
So on the classical, it should be, oops. Sorry for those of you watching at home. Right there. So after event E.
Wait, can you go back?
So after event E, after event E. So theoretically, if I roll a die 6 times, I should get the number 3 once. If I roll it 12 times, I should get 3 twice. If I throw it 18 times, I should get thrice. You think that'll happen?
No,
I think it might.
that's not effective.
The more and more I perform an experiment, so the more and more I roll a die. If I roll a die 100 times, 200 times, 500, 1,000 times, the more I roll that die and count down how many times I get a 3, the closer it's going to get to 1 over 6.
I don't know if
Hmm?
I don't know if that's
You do? I think there's a way to do that.
do it on my phone.
You can? Roll it 6 times.
First one is a 3.
Okay.
Second one is a 3. Third one is a 4. Fourth one is a 3. Fifth one is a 3. Who really likes 3s? Sixth one is a 1.
Okay, so assuming that simulation, a simulation is fair, then you would have got
4 out of 6.
4 out of 6, which is very much not the theoretical probability of rolling a 3. So if we had the time or the desire to, we could keep doing that, and it would get closer to 1 over 6. Cool. Google does that?
Yeah, they also do coin flips.
Wow. Google does everything except for letting me listen to Pandora in the morning because it keeps asking me if I want help. I keep telling it no.
Just trying to make sure.
311.
You know Google has a new thing where it's like Google Gravity, and if you do it, you type Google Gravity, and then you press the I'm feeling lucky button, then Google will like crash down on itself, like fall to the bottom of the page, and you can like take things, just like totally crash the entire screen around, and you can still Google things, and the results will just like pile on top.
I can't ever imagine why I think that.
It's a good way to waste 10 minutes.
All right, so I would not, if I were a student, I would not write that down. Assuming that I'm the type of student that's also going to do the practice. No. Just an explanation. So here, a survey is being conducted, and people are asked their overall impression of the 2000s. Why? I don't know. But somebody's interested in how people felt about the 2000s. So some people had a positive feeling, some had a negative, some said neither, and then some said don't know. Again, I don't know how those two things are different from one another.
I don't have neither.
How would you responded?
The 2000s?
Yeah.
Ew.
What is it now? 2016?
Yes.
I would have been the vanilla person and said neither. Yeah. The 2000s were like
How do you feel? Neither.
the 2000s were like my 20s. You'll find out soon enough that the 20s, you know, you're navigating through a lot of things. So
I thought that was
yeah.
Isn't the 20s
So if we want to find the probability that the next person we ask, so you asked me, the probability that I had a positive impression, we would just take the number of times that people did say they had a positive impression. That's the probability of the positive. And divide it by the total number of people asked. Somebody help me out.
A number.
What are we talking about? 0.269.
0.269?
Well, I guess it's 2.699.
We'll say 0.2. So like a 27% chance that I would have said I had a positive feeling about it based on that data. What's the percent chance that I didn't have a positive feeling?
Oh,
73% chance.
wait, no, what?
No, because it's
50%.
Okay, so the original question was, what's the percent of being positive? That's, we'll say 27%. The probability that I didn't say positive, not negative,
Got it.
I just didn't say positive. So any of those three? 73%. That's called a compliment. Much like two angles that add to 90. See what I'm doing? I'm making connections.
Don't connect back.
It's okay. Alright, so remember, this is compulsory, which is like your attendance in school, meaning like you have to do it because I'm going to see it. See what I did there? I made more connections.
Never connect back. So much.